Welcome to the Sports Show. Mike Max, Patrick Ricci, Brian Lawton, and Sid Hartman.
Yes, sir.
Hey, it's kind of hockey crazy around here in these parts with the Olympics and everything else going on. Have you gotten up early to watch some of these games?
Yeah, I got to confess I have.
You've watched, huh?
Yeah.
Boy, you don't do that often.
Well, it'd be great if the United States can win another one. This would be altogether different than the first one. I don't think those Russian teams, Brian would know a lot more about it than I do. I don't think these Russian teams are as good as those teams in the 80s, 70s, 80s, are they?
Well, they don't have the defense that they had then, Mike. That would be the big difference that I see. So they don't have that depth. They've got a great team, though, and they could win it very easily.
How do you like the pros playing in the Olympics?
I like it. I'm not that bullish that we'll see it much beyond this, though, Mike. I really don't think so. I think that...
You think it's run its course?
I think it has. I think Pyeongchang, South Korea, is not going to be a real big attraction for the National Hockey League or its players. So I'm very happy to see so many kids come out this year and participate for all the countries.
My friend Eddie Snyder, known for a long time, he is determined that there be no more National Hockey League in the Olympics. He just can't understand why you should give up. Not that he's worth about $5 billion, but he's so worried about that Philadelphia money they take in those 2 weeks that they don't play. He's going to fight it right to the end.
Ed's been very outspoken about it. He's been very outspoken about not wanting to do it.
Patrick?
Well, I think the reason they got him to go to Sochi is NHL just signed a new deal with NBC, and NBC wanted to have him there. Don't
forget that card, yeah.
Now they got a long-term deal with NBC, so then they don't have to treat him as nice as they had to treat him this time. But, you know, it's a lot of fun. I do get a kick out of people that say, okay, if they only put the NHL on bigger ice sheets and called more interference penalties, this is the type of hockey we'd have. Yeah, if you had 6 teams. If you went back to 6 teams, you got the best players in the world.
Yeah.
You know, you don't get to have the 6 best Russians on the same team. You don't get to have, 20 of our guys. I would agree with you, though, just watching it. I'm not Mr. Hockey either, but we're deeper than they are. We should beat them. I think they're great up the first when they get Datsuk's out there and, Malkin and Ovechkin. Yeah, okay, they're better than you are, but 4 lines deep and 6 defensemen, they aren't better.
Mr. Bettman's going to fight to keep it. He argues that the people don't know these hockey players. This is a chance for them to know the hockey players. This is a chance to have more races than National Hockey League. But I don't know, you know a lot more, but I know a couple guys in the National Hockey League. They don't think he's got the votes for the next time.
Well, 100,000 people, Mike, started following TJ Oshie after that game on Twitter the other day. That doesn't happen that often.
Put your agent hat on. What could you do with TJ Oshie, or does it all depend on the way the rest of the game
Well, that's going to fall to Dean Grillo from Brainerd, Minnesota.
Absolutely.
And Dino's obviously excited about the possibilities for TJ. And you know what? Something like that was so unique. It doesn't happen. So unique. So
most
special.
of us didn't even know the rules that you can send the same guy out
there.
It was bizarre, and people aren't used to seeing it.
I would like to see the NHL do one thing, though, and go to the 3-point game. And,
there's a lot of talk about that.
And you go, if you win in regulation, you get 3 points. I'd also say if you win in overtime, you get 3 points.
Yep.
If you go to the shootout, then it's 2-1. And, put some
beef in it.
Put some priority in winning in overtime instead of just sitting around for 4 or 5 minutes.
Right, to go to the shootout,
Where is the next Winter Olympics?
South Korea.
Pyeongchang, South Korea.
Now, you're going to go to that one. I know Sochi was
for sure.
on the radar. Once it's in South Korea, that's right in your wheelhouse.
We got it. By the way, we got a week to go without any terrorism yet. Things are looking
so
good
far, so good.
far. So
yeah,
I have
you can
spent
bet
a lot
they
of
took
time.
care of that.
Who's that?
The Russians.
Yeah,
you can bet.
You think they had pretty good security?
Darn right.
Sid's absolutely correct.
Have you ever been there?
Oh, I've been, not to Sochi, but I've been to Russia 30, 40 times in my life. I spent a lot of time there as an agent. I think it's a wonderful country, and, unfortunately, I was there when the Chechens took over the Moscow theater And what Sid is referencing is they don't fool around when it comes to terrorism and things like that. It's probably one of the most safest places on the planet right now.
Really?
Okay, I got two
really
Russian questions for you. The Continental Hockey League apparently is losing millions, right?
Yep.
The Russian Hockey League. And what's the state of youth hockey in Russia? What's the state of we seem to be better than them in juniors and stuff like that. We finally have the numbers, I guess, over them, huh?
Yeah, we really do. First off, on the Continental Hockey League, it is a lot of billionaires that own the teams. That is how it's shaping up right now. It's not.
So
it's
these
not
losses
a league
aren't monumental to them, huh?
They're not monumental to them, but it's not a league that can support itself through TV and ticket sales. As far as their youth programs, it's coming back. They're doing better. But, you know, some of these countries over there, Slovakia and Czechoslovakia, that for years have produced a lot of players, are really down right now.
Well, as I said, if the Czech Republic and Slovakia knew what this was going to do to their hockey program, they would have never split. They would have stayed together.
That's kind of what you thought too, Sid, wasn't it?
They don't have many Russians coming into the National Hockey League anymore. Every year they used to have 4 or 5 come in. Is that true?
Not as many right now because a lot of them can stay home in the KHL and make really more money than they can come in here.
Oh,
that's the type of money that's being paid. We do have one really great player that Dallas drafted this year, Valery Nikitin. And if you get a chance, check this guy out because he will be a major star from Russia.
Believe it or not, more hockey talk when we come back. Stay with us.
The Sports Show is brought to you in part by Canterbury Park 24/7 Card Club. Don't forget the Card Club at Canterbury Park. Cambria, makers of quality quartz surfaces. Ticket King. For the best price on tickets anywhere, try Ticket King. Soundpoint Audiology. Life is worth hearing. And Cuisine Concepts. Franklin Street Bakery at 11th and Franklin in South Minneapolis, just down from Mall of America Field. And Taste of the NFL. Proud to be the premier Super Bowl party with a purpose to support hunger relief locally and nationally.
Quality. It's the result of shared values. The joy found in an honest day's work. Respect for true American craftsmanship and the need, not the want, to get things right. It's the result of remembering your roots, being forever humbled by how far you've traveled and forever hungry to push on further. Quality is a result. Quality is who we are. Cambria. Family owned, American made.
Have you ever considered a career in the media arts?
I want to be a graphic designer.
I want to create animations.
I want to be a producer.
I want to code websites.
Minneapolis Media Institute offers a variety of programs, from digital art and design, game art and animation, to recording and music technology.
I can be anything I want to be.
I can be anything I want to be.
Minneapolis Media Institute. Start your future now.
It's back. The premier Ice Cross Downhill World Championship. Witness the fearless, the fierce, the nothing gets in my way. Red Bull Crashed Ice takes you to the edge. February 22nd in front of the Cathedral of St. Paul.
Cleaning away calcium, lime, and rust buildup is cleaner with CLR. It's safe enough to carry the EPA Designed for the Environment label. Yet it has a powerful cleaning formula that you can trust to dissolve tough calcium and lime deposits and surface rust stains quickly and easily. Crusty white buildup on shower heads and hard water stains from coffee pots. Plus, it helps dishwashers and washing machines clean better. Safe, effective CLR. We make cleaning cleaner.
CLR is available at these fine stores.
Audi A4 drivers have spoken. And they rank the A4 highest in total quality index in its class. Experience the new Audi A4 at your local dealer today.
Looking for a nice, big, juicy rack of ribs?
Fabulous chops, huge steaks, and the Buddy Bowl? Then J.D. Hoyt's is the place for you. Hoyt's opened in 1983, and Mike Andrews and his partner John White have kept this Minnesota tradition at the top of the food chain. Managing owner Pat Montague gives us a tour.
At J.D. Hoyt's, enjoy a relaxed atmosphere, great food, friendly service, private dining room, second-to-none happy hour, just blocks from the new ballpark.
Located at 394 in North Washington. Locally owned, nationally known. Hoyt's.
What a perfect time to go see Pat and the folks at J.D. Hoyt's right off of Washington. Coming downtown for anything, J.D. Hoyt's is the one-stop shop, and get yourself a chop. J.D. Hoyt's on Washington. So do you think the Olympics are good for the NHL, or do we just forget about, you know, like when Ryan Miller was goalie, remember he had the great, obviously, in Vancouver, and then I didn't even think about him again until this Olympics, you know, but at the time you thought, well, this is going to have a great spin-off, but it really didn't.
Well, I think what Sid was saying earlier about Gary Bettman liking the Olympics, it just draws in people that are not normal National Hockey League fans. And anytime you can expand the base, Mike, I think it's a tremendous thing for the sport. Hockey's on fire right now. They just did a huge deal in Canada. They've got great coverage with NBC. Their revenues are shooting through the roof. This is a nice dovetail with all the good things that are going on. The outdoor games, of course, this year.
How about the ratings for that opening night being #1 in Minneapolis in St. Paul?
Opening night ceremony in the Olympics.
Yeah. Well, they had, what's amazing is they had 4.5 million people watching at 6 o'clock in the morning. NBC's highest rated hockey game ever was the game with the Russians.
How do you, so Patrick, you go to Olympic Village if you're covering this, and the events are kind of spread out. How do you, is it easy to get from point A to point B?
Depends upon if you're in a town where the bus service works or if it doesn't work, although, you know, I did 6, and you know, Spain was good because you had the train, and Salt Lake was great because the buses were boom right there. But some of them,
Torino was not good.
I didn't go to Torino. I heard it was awful. And Albertville, they said, was horrible. So
yeah,
it just depends on
Norway was good.
Why is Zach Parise the captain of this team?
Why is he?
Yeah, give me the NHL word on Zach Parise.
You know what? His consistently high level of play, the way he handles himself in the locker room. I mean, Minnesota Wild are very fortunate. I just had a very long conversation with Chuck Fletcher about this the other day. To have Ryan Suter and Zach Parise, it's amazing for the team, for the younger players on the team. The benefit that they're getting out of that is incredible.
Yeah, Suter
they're
played
great leaders.
29 minutes. That's a walk in the park for him the other day. That's nothing.
He only played 20 today.
Only 20.
I would think it helps the Wild. You got Sutter, you got Parise on there, and guys who might never go to a hockey game might go just to see them play.
Okay, I'm going to say something very impolitic here about Zach. I love him. He's a hard worker, but he's a step slow for the Olympic game. He's not flying up and down the ice. I think he's better on the small ice sheet than on the big ice sheet.
Yeah, I probably have to agree with you. He is quick.
Yes.
But there's so much ground to cover on the big ice. There's so much more width to the arena. Not necessarily a lot longer, but the width is what really stands out. And, yeah, I agree with you. Zach Parise on a small rink is very quick to pucks. He's so tenacious. He's such a hard worker. He just...
The corners are closer.
That's right.
The corners are closer.
In the Olympics, you know what? There's a lot of players on the U.S. team, particularly on D, Brooks Orpik, you know, a couple other guys that have really struggled over there that are good National Hockey League players. It's a different game.
Do they have the best players there?
I don't think they have necessarily the best players, but I think they've got the right players to win this tournament. There might be 2 or 3 things now that they're over there and seeing how big the ice is that they maybe
I was hoping Niskanen would have made it.
Yeah, and a guy like him, quite frankly, that moves really well would have been very good on the big ice. And a right-handed shot, which they need on this team a little more.
When you came out, obviously, in the draft, you signed with the North Stars, but you had a chance to wait around to play in the Olympics. Did you ever regret that later, or was it a big deal at the time, or how did you feel about it?
You know what? Watching the Olympics now, and I watch it with my daughter that's 9 years old every night, she loves the Olympics. The Olympics are so compelling. When I look back, Mike, absolutely, I wish I had done it. It's the, you know, when at that time you haven't been a professional, you haven't made any money, you don't really
it looks good,
know.
that check,
it looks good to become a professional, but when you look back, and that's why these guys go. Ryan Suter, Zach Parise, I can assure you they don't need the money. They're going because this is a really cool event in your life. It's a scrapbook moment. It's something you never forget.
How old's your daughter?
She's 9 years old, and she loves the Olympics.
Women love the Olympics.
Boy, do they ever,
Women love the Olympics.
I suppose she's skating a lot, right?
She's a dancer, and she likes to skate.
Oh, no, I feel sorry for you.
Were you inspired by the 80 team?
I was very inspired
You
by
were
the
at that
80
age,
team,
right?
but I was also very afraid of following the 80 team.
In 84?
Yes, because that 84 would have been my year for the Olympics.
And you'd been in your prime
I
as a
was on the
young-
team. I was named to the team, but I decided to turn pro, and I was petrified of trying to match.
I think
what
we
these guys
finished
had done in
7th
80.
or 9th or something and got beat by Norway. I know that.
It wasn't a good
Poor
showing.
Lou Vero.
What was Herbie like when he coached you with the North Stars?
Herbie was fantastic. He was such a great motivational speaker. He's such a positive guy in a sport that back then had so many negatives as far as from the coaching and the way players
You mean
were
at that
handled.
time, the way the coaches coached was negative?
A lot of intimidation and fear. If
That's
you look
what-
back at
it
the
was
guys
Mike
and
Keenan-like, huh?
It was very Mike Keenan-like.
He was a pretty tough guy, boy.
Who, Herbie?
He didn't care who you were or what you were. He was something.
You know, it was interesting. I was talking to...
I spent a lot of time at Herbie Brooks.
Yeah.
Boy, he was a sharp cookie.
Well, they say I saw Bill Baker the other day. You know, every 4 years we interview these guys again because there's one thing. And he said, you know, we're talking about this, me and the players. He said we thought at some moment in one of our reunions years later, Herbie would have had one of those moments when he said, guys, I know I was really tough on you. I want you to know how much you meant to me. But they said just never happened. He never, if there was another side to him, they never saw it.
Yeah, he was always in character.
Yeah, he never stepped out, huh?
He never stepped out. He never let up.
Take a break, come back, stay with us.
Attention, please get a pencil. Announcing a hearing breakthrough, a microchip that is so small it can fit on the head of a pen, worn hidden entirely in your ear canal, making you hear clear as a bell. And it's proudly made in the USA. Do you feel left out of conversations? Is it difficult to hear words in noisy environments? Do others say that you listen to the TV or radio too loudly? Do you feel like a bother to others due to your problems hearing? If you answered yes, you may qualify for this new chip in the ear. Only 50 participants are needed to try this microchip, so get a pencil. Call now to see if you qualify. This revolutionary chip actually mimics the natural sound selection of the human ear. With multi-core microprocessors, technology used in the most advanced computers, sounds are analyzed and classified each millisecond, controlling noise and making speech clear. Do not wait. Call now to see if you qualify to wear this revolutionary new microchip.
I have evidence that proves my dad's a space alien. He speaks a weird language. Drinks green stuff. He says he's from Albuquerque. I'm not buying it. I mean, just look at him. And one more thing. He has a spaceship. The evidence doesn't lie. My dad's an alien.
The highly advanced Audi A6, named to car and drivers 10 best. Experience exceptional value on the Audi A6 at your local dealer today.
Stop on by Audi Minneapolis, right off of General Mills Boulevard 394. Say hi to Bruce Bonine, Charlie, and the whole gang, and drive away in an A8 or a Q7. Perfect for all 4 seasons. So, Sidney, you like the Wild the rest of the way?
Pardon me?
Do you like the Wild's chances coming out of the break?
I don't know. What do you think?
You just make me ask you the first question out of each break, so I knew you wouldn't have a good answer
Be
for it.
interesting to see if Harding's ready to go when we get out of the break. 3 more weeks. You got him and Kemper as your goaltenders. You're in pretty good shape. So they'll make the playoffs. I don't think there's any doubt.
If Mikko Koivu comes back, obviously he'll be back, but I mean, what are we going to see here? Is Granlund, has that been a big benefit to see what he did last month before the break?
Well, I think what he's doing now will be a huge benefit for him when he returns. Yeah, he's really doing a nice job playing there. But more importantly, this break came at a great time for the Wild to give some of those guys that have been injured, Harding, Koivu, Spurgeon's back now, get everybody healthy, and we'll see what they can do.
I'll start going to Wild games when I put that train in.
The train that takes you
to fight that traffic over there, and then what pees me off is if you stay for the whole game, it takes you 45 minutes to an hour to get to the highway. You can't turn left. You got to go right. And the traffic is brutal.
Well, that's because they got 18,000 people there. You know why it's so easy to get out of Target Center after a game?
Oh, boy.
There's nobody there.
Hey, why don't you just stay on the river on those nights? You got a place close to St. Paul.
It's easy to get out of a place where there's no fans, Sid.
Well, how's the West going to play out here?
Well, I mean, the Wild, it'll be tough for them to move outside of the wild card position that they're in right now, but you know, I don't see anybody. The West is so tough when you look at
hard to
San
make up
Jose,
ground, isn't it?
Anaheim. I mean, you know, and even just, you know, you got Colorado, Chicago, St. Louis in front of the Wild. Those are some really strong teams.
Patrick, you just hinted at it. If you've been at a Wolves game lately, there's one thing missing, and that's fans. I mean, it's they had a nice Saturday night crowd a couple weeks ago, but that's about it.
The weeknight crowds are awful. And I think one thing they did is they went back to NBA pricing. They were giving tickets away for about 3 years. They went back to NBA pricing, but I don't know what's going on. But boy, oh boy, it's awful.
Yeah,
12,
I mean, you go to
when they're announcing 12, that means they got 9.
That Monday night against Houston, and it's a Monday.
Timberwolves. When they say they got 12, they got 9.
How about the Wild?
They say they got 18-5, and they might only have 17-6.
Yeah.
Which one do you want?
I know somebody pretty well who works there.
Okay.
And they were announcing those sellouts every game, and they weren't sellouts.
I got 2 friends. They call my eyes. I've been to enough games. It's pretty damn full.
Yeah.
They are drawn pretty well again, and there's a buzz about them.
Well, yeah, there really is.
Suter and Parisi turned the franchise around again.
It really
in terms
did.
of attendance, yeah.
I'll be at the Wolves on Wednesday, though, Mike, so I'm looking forward to it.
Well,
yes.
yeah, because Olympic break, you got nothing else to do.
I love the Wolves, and I'm really looking
Hockey
forward
in the morning,
to it.
you got nothing else to do
My
at
good
night.
friend Jeff Warblowski invited me. Can't wait.
It beats the hell out of watching the Gophers.
Back after this. Stay with us.
Say something about...
If you guys could go on a free shopping spree anywhere, where would you go? I'd go to the grocery store. Pizza, ice cream. I'd go shop for clothes. You know where I go? I go to Ticket King. Ticket King! At Ticket King, you can buy great seats for the Vikings, Christian Ponder, the Wild, Zach Parisi, the Timberwolves, Ricky Rubio, and of course the Twins. We love the Twins. Yep, this is where I go. Vikings, Twins, Wild, Timberwolves, Gophers, theater, and concerts, too. Justin Bieber! Hey, I like him first. For details, go to TicketKingOnline.com. Any ticket, anytime, anywhere. It's the real thing. It's Ticket King. Right, Dad?
Couldn't have said it any better myself.
That's for sure.
I'm Michelle Tafoya, and once again, Taste of the NFL was the hottest ticket at the Super Bowl. Thank you for joining us as we came together to deliver a successful Taste of the NFL at the Super Bowl. The money we raised means a lot. For every $1, 8 meals are provided. Thank you, Brooklyn, and thank you all for joining us at our annual Party with a Purpose, the Taste of the NFL, where food, football, and fun take a bite out of hunger in America.
You know, the last...
Yeah, like Michelle said, taking a bite out of America, Taste of the NFL, one bite at a time. Welcome back to the Sports Show. Gopher basketball team found a way to win today.
Well, they won 2 games on the road, one at Penn State and one at Northwestern. Northwestern, the second half, went 7 for 28.
It was the darndest thing to try to watch.
They went 7 minutes and 10 seconds.
Without a field goal.
Without a field goal until 15 seconds left, and they got some scoring. But I think the Gophers will have a hard time getting NC. They're not going to beat Iowa. They're not going to beat Michigan at Michigan. And they're not going to beat Ohio State at Ohio State.
Nebraska won at Michigan today. So anybody can, the Big Ten, unless Michigan State gets healthy, I think Iowa and Michigan State are the only, and a healthy Michigan State are the only real good teams in the league.
I agree.
And Iowa, they can beat Iowa here. Michigan State got beat by Nebraska.
Yeah.
Nebraska beat Michigan State
today.
60. And yesterday, Michigan loses to somebody. Wisconsin drilled them, right?
Wisconsin went in there and beat them. They're a funny team, that Michigan. At times they're the best team in the league, and I don't think the Big Ten is very good this year. When Nebraska can go into Michigan State, although he lost a couple good players by injuries, and he doesn't have the team he normally has.
Nebraska's 6-6.
Yeah.
Tim Miles, coach of the year.
Yeah, he's going to end up there if he ends up, a couple more wins.
Yeah.
We were talking about Kevin Love, the All-Star game in Timberwolves. Brian, put your agent hat on again. If you're Kevin Love's agent, do you get him out of town? Do you ask for a sign and trade? What would you do?
Boy, that's a tough one. I mean, obviously the fans love him here, but
I don't think he's coming back.
At some point, it's about winning. And so especially for a guy that's as deep in his career as Kevin is. If you
would
can't
you sit down with
convince him,
ownership and say, look, sign and trade, get the max out here, you get the most for him? Is that what you do?
You got to wait a year for that, Max. You can't do that now.
No, but when it comes up, you got to figure out a way.
Yeah, I think you got to do that. But, it's up to the ownership. It's up to the general manager and the coach to convince him that we are on our way to winning.
And, of course, it's got to be a team that he
consistently.
wants to go to.
Yeah, that's right. Well, in order to move him to do that, but first you got to take a shot, Mike. You have to take a shot from the management side at trying to convince him to stay, that the franchise is on the right track, that we have the younger players in place, and that we're going to get there. It's been a long time. As you said.
Good luck with that speech.
Unfortunately, he can see.
Yeah, problem is he plays with this team.
I don't think he wants the pressure of New York or Los Angeles in the first place. Knicks aren't winning. The Lakers are having a heck of a time.
Somebody coming out of the Lakers don't have any draft picks to give
The
up.
one place he might want to go is his hometown of Portland.
Or the Clippers. Clippers are in play now.
2015 is the.
Clippers can't afford
He'll opt out, and he'll go into the summer of 2015, and he'll either take the bigger deal or he'll do a sign and trade.
You'd be surprised how many guys stay when you think they might leave.
Kevin
It
Durant
all comes down.
stayed. Who would have guessed Kevin Durant would stay in Oklahoma City?
In a million years, you wouldn't guess that. So
I
stranger
think
things
he
have happened.
likes a small town in the NBA. I don't think he wants.
Why do you think that? I have never seen anything from him that I thought.
I think he's that kind of a guy.
He doesn't live here in the off season. He doesn't.
Well, I talked to him, not so much this year, but I used to talk to him a lot, and he really liked it here. He likes to know. No, not the big pressure, not all the press and all the stuff. And this year I haven't talked to him much.
All I know is if he wanted to win that bad, he'd play defense.
Well, yeah, I mean, and he's pretty non-committal about everything. You know, he doesn't.
But
he's.
I wouldn't take the non-committal. He has to do that. You can rest assured his agent's telling him, don't say anything, let me handle it. And, we've got to play this out. We got to do everything we can to drive his value. So, that's just part of the business.
It will be interesting to see what this, $100 million and then the practice facility makes it, if this looks like more of a cutting-edge franchise than it does right now, playing in an old dump of a building.
That's a great point, and I always wonder how much does that mean to players? I mean, obviously, they're comparing it against other arenas and other franchises, and, does that matter a lot?
I think it's a big deal.
They brought him in last summer to talk about that basketball building.
Flip's doing everything he can to put his arm around him and have a great relationship with him,
Yeah. I think he and Taylor will work it out.
I shouldn't have worn this black thing over a black. I kind of look like a defrocked priest here.
Yeah, you do, man.
I kind of look like
a little white collar there when we got you.
Yeah.
Back in your days in
A lot of people have accused you of being dressed in your
and you've been accused of a lot of things.
And not that, though.
Last quickly, Gopher hockey team, different than years past, not as high skilled, and yet
having a great year. Having a great year. I've been really impressed with them.
4 freshmen score all those goals.
They're playing what?
That's always going to be the way with the Gophers because they're always going to have guys
I love
sign.
it for this way. I was around when Berenson and Mariucci used to go at each other, and it was a riot.
We got to go.
The Sports Show is brought to you in part by Canterbury Park 24/7 Card Club. Don't forget the Card Club at Canterbury Park. Cambria, makers of quality quart surfaces. Ticket King. For the best price on tickets anywhere, try Ticket King. Soundpoint Audiology. Life is worth hearing. And Cuisine Concepts. Franklin Street Bakery at 11th and Franklin in South Minneapolis, just down from Mall of America Field. And Taste of the NFL. Proud to be the premier Super Bowl party with a purpose to support hunger relief locally and nationally.